It's my hope that you're doing well today. Welcome to the Period Man. It's another episode that you wouldn't want to miss today. I remember last week when we left each other, we were having a lot of anxieties about the COVID-19. I know it's still continuing, but at least people are getting relaxed. People are getting to understand the environment. I believe you too are doing it. I've had a long week and I've enjoyed myself. Lots of activities here and there, working from home, getting to the field for some few minutes and getting back home. And well, it has been an amazing week. So welcome. Today we're going to be with you briefly as we are finalizing this weekend and getting to relax our minds as we cope with this COVID-19 pandemic. So, if you remember, this week on Monday, I gave a question. And my question was, there was an image, circular image with 28 days, and I asked you to tell me which of these days will be safe in regards to issues of teenage pregnancies that we are having around. So today, fortunately or unfortunately, I would say that we don't have a winner. And the reason being, I think the question was too difficult for anyone to answer it correctly. And that's why I've decided that I'm going to explain what a 28-day period cycle entails and what are the conditions involved. So stay tuned as I explain. So with me, I have a 28-day period cycle. Now, when you look at this image, I have from day 1 all the way running clockwise, day 14, continuing up to day 28. As I said earlier, we have different period cycles, but for a regular period cycle, we have 28 days. So now, what happens for a girl who has 28-day period cycle? When we start with day 1, day 1 is not a calendar month or a calendar day. Day 1 is the first day this girl sees her menstrual blood in a particular month. So the first day she sees her blood, that marks day 1 of her cycle. Now, that cycle, averagely, it continues for about 4 days. So by day 5, this girl ought to have finished her cycle, her period, sorry. Now, you'll notice that there are some parts that I've shaded. I'll explain why I've shaded them. When I jump from day 7, that is clear. You can see from day 1 to day 7 is clear inside. Then day 22 to 28 is also clear. But from day 8 to day 11 and day 17 to day 21 are shaded. Then we have day 12 to day 16 are shaded in red, if you can just see. Good. Now, what does this mean? For a pregnancy to occur, ovulation must have occurred. Now, for a 28-day period cycle, ovulation occurs between day 12 and day 16. Any of these days, ovulation can happen. What do I mean by ovulation? Ovulation is a process whereby an egg or an ovum is released from the ovaries. Now, when it is released from the ovary, it travels along fallopian tube towards the uterus. Now, I'll explain why I've shaded some regions. This is what happens. An egg can stay up to 120 hours. That's about 5 days. A sperm can also stay live for about 5 days. So now, assume this girl ovulates on day 12. That means if she had unprotected sex on day 8, the sperm will be live from day 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will meet the egg. Then fertilization will occur, and this lady will become pregnant. Another scenario, if this girl ovulates on day 16, and then she happens to have unprotected sex on day 17, okay, or on day 21. Remember, the egg was released on 16th, therefore it stays for 5 days. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If this girl has unprotected sex on day 21, the egg will still be alive. So the sperm released on day 21 will meet the egg, and the girl will become pregnant. Okay? So now, that's why I've shaded this region. A girl has sex here, releases sperm from the man. The sperm stays for 5 days. The girl ovulates on day 12, she can get pregnant. Or a girl ovulates on day 16, but has sex on day 21, the egg will still be alive. So it will meet the sperm, and she will get pregnant. Now, that makes day 8 all the way to day 21 a risky, very risky day for having unprotected sex. It is riskiest. Do we have that word in the English? Yes. It is riskiest to have sex during day 12 to day 16 of the girl menstrual cycle, if this girl has a regular 28-day period cycle. So now, why haven't I shaded day 12, 22 all the way to day 7? This is what happens. If this girl has sex here and she ovulated here, the ovum shall have died. So possibility of getting pregnant at this point is not very high. Likewise, this point, if a girl had sex on day 7 and she ovulates on day 12, by the time we'll be reaching day 11, the sperm shall have died. So it will be difficult for this girl to get pregnant. But any day within the shaded region is a no-go zone. So now, does it mean that from day 22 all the way to day 7 you are safe? Not this. A girl's cycle is affected by many issues. Among them, diet, weather, medical conditions, and other factors. So, even when you monitor your periods for continuous 6 months and you realize that you have 28 days cycle, you are still at risk of getting pregnant on the 7th month because of the changes that happen in a girl's body. You could have a very regular flow on the 6 months, but when you get to the 7th month, maybe you've traveled to a low humidity region or a high temperature region, then the cycle can change abruptly. And therefore, that puts you at risk. What do I mean? Whether you have a regular menstrual or period cycle, it is important. If you must engage in sex, make it a protected sex. Because there is no time that will actually say, I'm really safe. So, keep yourself, maintain yourself. It's not easy during this COVID-19 season. I know young people are having fun. People are out of school. But make sure you monitor your cycle. It is very important. From the first day you see your blood, start recording that as the first day of your menstrual cycle. So thank you very much. As questions are coming by, I'll be responding to them as soon as I get them, and we'll continue with this conversation online. Next week, I'll be coming back. Now, there are many questions that have been asked, leave alone the cycle, but there are many questions that men have been asking me. How do you put a pad into a panty? That will be our next topic. See you next week. I love you all. Bye.